All right, I think we are live. Thanks everybody for joining me today. My name's Jeremy. I am the Chief Product Officer here at Kajabi. And today we're going to be going over a couple different things related to some new changes that we're going to be bringing to forms inside of Kajabi. So if you're new here, if you're just coming in, if you're new to Kajabi, this is a great resource for you to kind of learn the current state of affairs when it comes to forms and bots and what we're doing about it, as well as some really good email practices and new features that we're bringing into some of those email practices so that you guys can continue to have great deliverability on the email marketing side. And you can also continue to have just really clean email lists in general. And so here's kind of the run of show for today. I'm going to be demoing a couple different things that are going to be inside the platform. Some of these things are going to be available to you right now via Kajabi Labs, and I can even show you how to jump into Kajabi Labs and enable that for yourself, as well as some other kind of fun features if you want to play around with some new beta features that we have inside of Kajabi Labs. So we have that. I also have a feature that's not yet in Kajabi Labs, but it's going to be very, very soon. I think it's going to be a set of functionality that you guys are going to be really excited about. I know some of you have been asking about this for years related to some improvements to our double opt-in process. So really excited to share that with you guys. I'm also going to be doing a live Q&A. So if you guys want, you'll see this in the chat as well. I know folks will be jumping in and throwing in the chat, but if you guys go to Slido, sli.do, and you type in the code Kajabi right there at the top, you'll be able to jump in and ask me any questions that you want related to, I'd love to keep it on topic related to a lot of these things related to double opt-in and reCAPTCHA and things like that. But if you happen to drop in any other product related questions, I might answer them. All right, so that's kind of the basics around show. I know we still have more and more people piling in here, so I want to make sure that we have some time. But yeah, we're really excited that the team has been hard at work on numerous features, and I'll go over some news in a second related to how we can continue to keep our email lists clean as a platform and as entrepreneurs. And we're bringing some really awesome new features to kind of help with that. And so I wanted to take this first moment to talk a little bit about reCAPTCHA, because I know we've sent out some marketing emails. You guys are probably jumping on here to either ask me some questions about reCAPTCHA as well as kind of understand how it affects you and your business. And I can go ahead and demo it. So let me grab my screen and share that with you guys. Okay. Excellent. Okay, so reCAPTCHA is a technology made by Google where it's really made to kind of keep bots away. And we've been measuring this on the back end, behind the scenes for a while, knowing that we have about 5% of all traffic that comes to your landing pages and your website, or that specifically that's submitting your forms, that 5% of that traffic is actually bot traffic. And that's kind of just the reality of the world right now, where we have a lot of different bots that are trying to do malicious things, whether they're putting bad emails or spamming your forms, inside of your lists and things like that. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're putting some mechanisms in place so that you guys can keep all of those bad actors out, all of those malicious bots outside of your email list. So you won't be, accidentally sending to an email you shouldn't be, getting spam complaints, getting poorer deliverability as a result. So I'm going to jump in. I'm going to show you guys how to try out reCAPTCHA if you guys want to. This is going to be a really good way to be able to, again, protect your site from getting any malicious form submissions, or protecting your email list from getting any malicious emails being put in there. And so if you go over to your settings tab in your dashboard, you can see, site settings all the way down here at the bottom is we have Kajabi Labs. Kajabi Labs is a newer feature where, we're going to give you earlier access to some things that are in development, and you'll be able to switch them on and switch them off, at your own leisure, which is great. In the past, what we've had to do is you've had to reach out to customer support, say, I heard this feature is available. Can you enable it for me? And then if you wanted it turned off for whatever reason, you have to reach back out to customer support again. Not anymore. And so Kajabi Labs, there's a lot of really cool beta features that we have right now related to improvements to the product admin experience, brand new sales tab, kind of looking at redoing our navigation, a new people page, and right here under people, you'll see forms reCAPTCHA. Now I have this turned on right now, and what this does is it adds reCAPTCHA to all your forms so you can kind of keep those bots out. And I'm going to show you a little bit how reCAPTCHA works. So we also have a new website pages builder in case you guys want to go try that out. You could also click here to learn more. And this is where we'll give you a help article like explaining everything about reCAPTCHA as well. So I'm going to be going over a lot of these changes overall, but if you guys want to dig deeper, you can go ahead and read that help article. Okay, so what does reCAPTCHA do? Well, let me go over to, I think I already have a page over here. I do. Okay, so what reCAPTCHA does essentially is when you submit a form, Google is going to use a lot of its special AI and machine learning to essentially determine, whether they suspect this might be a bot. And there's a lot of different ways that they can determine that. Some of it has to do with the different browser that they're using, or some weird behaviors that they might be exhibiting. They're filling out the form too fast, or things like that, to suspect it to be a bot. And so let's just test it out right now. I'm going to type in my name, and I'm going to type in my email. I'm going to submit that form. And so what happens is if they suspect that this may be a bot, and let me clarify that this happens like this happens about 20% of the time, 80% of the time, or 80+% of the time, and this is going to get better as Google learns more and more and more, they're not going to present any sort of challenge to somebody. They're just going to submit the form and it's going to work. But if Google's like, hey, this might be a little bit fishy, we're going to just, ask if this person's, really clarify if this person's a human being. So they're asking which ones are crosswalks. So I'm just going to fill these guys out. They're going to say, okay, which ones are all the bicycles? I'm going to go fill these out. And then my form is submitted. So that's an example of how reCAPTCHA, can quickly just, basically confirm if somebody is a robot or not. And for the most part, it works pretty flawlessly. And for the most part, your customers aren't really going to notice it. Now, we're using this version of reCAPTCHA called invisible reCAPTCHA, which means you don't really see it on the form. If you guys have interacted with reCAPTCHAs before, sometimes they have like a checkbox that you check. Your customers kind of won't notice it, and most of the traffic that will come through, won't notice it at all. And so that's why it's called invisible reCAPTCHA. So that's how reCAPTCHA is working right now, and I'm sure I can clarify a little bit, what the difference between version 2 and version 3. If you're on the Facebook group, you might have heard some chatter about, okay, what's better, version 2 reCAPTCHA or version 3 reCAPTCHA? We are using version 2 reCAPTCHA, and I'll tell you why. Version 2 reCAPTCHA is the one that presents challenges like this, and it actually works really, really well. If you look at certain reports and things like that. So like putting these on an opt-in form, we feel that version 2 of reCAPTCHA is one that's going to be the best. What version 3 reCAPTCHA essentially gives you is a score. Like we think this might be a bot, or we think it might not be a bot, and then we can send that score over to Kajabi, and Kajabi can try to figure out what to do next with it. Now, we could present a challenge, we could still put it in the email list and kind of watch how that person responds. But the main goal of this today is to make sure that any sort of malicious traffic like bots don't get into your system, because that can present a lot of challenges with you unintentionally emailing emails that did not get consent for you to email. And in even worse ways, there's these things called spam traps, which unfortunately a lot of bots can go through and throw into your email list. And if you happen to send an email to a spam trap, that can really put your reputation in hot water with different email block lists and things like that. And so our main goal is to make sure that we keep any malicious traffic out of your forms. And so that's why we're putting in this reCAPTCHA. Now, this is one option for you to use on your forms. It works really, really well. It's an industry standard across so many different domains. But if for some reason that's not working for you, we also have another option for you guys. So I'm going to go over to my forms. Click over to marketing. One second. Okay. Sorry guys, when I was demoing that, it looked like my screen kind of froze. So I'm going to try to go through one more time. It looks like there was an issue with multiple tabs in Zoom. I'm going to stop my screen share really quick. So sorry guys. And I'm just going to stay on one page. Let's see. Thumbs up or thumbs down if that is still working. or if you guys were able to see any of that demo. But if not, no worries. It looks like there was just a little bit of an issue with Zoom. So I'm going to move on to some of the double opt-in settings really quick. And let's go over to marketing and forms. Okay. And hopefully you guys can see this. Hopefully I don't have too many issues with Zoom again. But I'm over here on forms, and I have this new form that I just created called reCAPTCHA test form. That's the one that I just used for my test for reCAPTCHA. And some of you guys might have this enabled already, double opt-in. Now, the idea around double opt-in is that somebody will submit a form and there will be an extra added layer of verification. Basically, we'll send that person an email and say, hey, confirm your subscription. And what this does is actually really good practice, because what it does is it prevents somebody like me from knowing, I don't know, your email and saying, oh, I know this person's email. I'm just going to go on some random Kajabi site and start filling in forms with that person's email. And you never gave consent to receive, marketing emails from this person. I'm sure you guys have all, looked in your inboxes and looked at some of the things that have come through and be like, I did not give permission for this person to send to me. What double opt-in does is it gives that added step so that you can confirm, or the person who filled out the form, who owns that email address, can essentially confirm that their subscription, is valid. And so what that involves is we send them an email. They click the button, and then they're taken to a page that says your subscription is confirmed. Now, some of the limitations that we've had in the previous versions of double opt-in is, one, you could control the what that email said, but it was a little bit clunky and it applied to every single form on the site. And so you could still do that in the email templates, but some people, you guys might be selling or using an ebook, or you want to send an incentive email to get people to confirm their subscription so that they can get a freebie or get access to a course or things like that. So now, so that was one kind of issue we've had in the past. Another issue is that that page that they're taken to once their subscription is confirmed is not customizable at the moment, and so that's also presented an issue for people, especially when somebody confirms their subscription, maybe you want to give them access to the download, or you want to give them access to a video. You really want to incentivize them to confirm their email so that they can get something out of doing that. And that really, one, it keeps your email list really clean, but it also keeps people really engaged. Like, you now know the people who are going to go that extra mile, who are going to continue to engage with your emails because they just received one and they just engaged with it. And so this is a really, really good practice for email overall. And it's something that we want to, continue to make awesome. And so I talked about those two limitations, and I just want to say we're coming out with a new set of functionality that's going to change that. I want to demo all of that for you right now. So right here, I'm on my reCAPTCHA test form, and you can notice that double opt-in is now in its own panel, and you can click send double opt-in email to new contacts. And you have these extra actions now. So if you do this, we're just going to send the standard email. We'll send them to the standard, the standard confirmation page, and that's great. That's going to work out for most situations. But if you're doing something specific, like you're giving somebody, a free ebook, and you want them to confirm their subscription before they get the ebook, you can now do all of that through this. So the first thing I can do is I can say, I want to send a custom confirmation email to these new contacts. And so I can customize the subject line, and I can also customize the body. Now, I've already inserted the button here. So I could say, thanks for signing up. Click below to confirm your subscription. By the way, by confirming your subscription, you will get access to our awesome new ebook, Double Opt-in for Entrepreneurs. I don't know. And I don't know how to spell entrepreneurs without spell check. Let's see, I think I did that, right? Okay, and I can customize the button. I can say, confirm subscription and get access to the ebook. If you want to, you can customize all of this stuff. You can also, customize talk soon, Jeremy. Let's see, let's put this on another line as well. So just personalize it a little bit more. like you can see, you can also use, liquid here, like the site title and stuff like that. I could preview this in my browser. It's going to pop up in another window that you guys can't see right now, but when you click preview, you preview how it looks, which is great. And so you can customize how this email, functions and operates and things like that. And we can keep it, nice and simple and straightforward and to the point, so we can make sure all of these get into inboxes right away. So the second thing you can do is when they click this button, you can, instead of taking them to the default confirmation page, which is just a very basic page that says your subscription is confirmed, good job, you can redirect them to a special landing page. And so if I'm giving somebody an ebook for confirming their subscription, maybe this is the page that I want to take them to so they can go download it, right? Or maybe if I'm showing them a very special video, thanking them that they confirmed their subscription, things like that. So this is a really good way to essentially turn a double opt-in into an incentive for people to go and subscribe. And again, this is going to create much stronger leads, much more engaged audiences. Again, this is industry best practice for you guys to be able to do that. So I wanted to demo that for you, because the thing I wanted to say is, I know I demoed reCAPTCHA, but and I said this is an alternative. When you have double opt-in enabled, we don't have to do reCAPTCHA, right? Because we have another mechanism to kind of validate that. And so you'll get better form submissions, you'll get higher quality leads, and you'll have more control over how you want to incentivize people to sign up for your email list. So I think this is really cool. I'm excited. I think really soon here, we're going to do a little bit more cleanup on the functionality like this, and I did spell entrepreneurs wrong. I just noticed. We're going to be cleaning this up a little bit, and we're going to be putting it in Kajabi Labs very, very soon. So I want to hear from you guys in the chat if this sounds like this is a great solution for those of you who have used double opt-in or have tried double opt-in in the past. We're really trying to get some good feedback on how you guys intend to use this. And we sat down with some of you guys and really tried to understand how you wanted to use double opt-in, and this is what we came up with. And so we're really happy to get this into your guys' hands. So that is the double opt-in demo. Let me see if there's anything else. Yes, there's one more thing to cover, and that is what's to come. So we're going to be running through a lot of email lists, and we're essentially running all of the contacts in all of our systems through a filter to essentially identify those contacts that may come off as high risk. And those are ones that usually a bot maybe rolled around and submitted a form for you. We're actually going back on all the contacts that are still on your list, so you don't have to worry about if you're sending an email like that, you're going to hit a spam trap or get a high complaint rate or anything like that. We've marked those as high risk, and we're going to show you which one of those contacts in your list are high risk. And for the most part, those high risk contacts, there's just maybe one or two in most accounts. There might be other accounts that have a lot. Maybe they bought a list and they uploaded a list that they bought that they shouldn't have. And that's not very compliant with a lot of the email laws. And so there might be some accounts that have a larger bulk of high risk emails, but we're going to be communicating with you guys directly, being as transparent as we can, in order to show you guys, hey, we found these high risk contacts. Here's what you can do about it in the future, but we're going to exclude them, from being sent emails in order to protect, your reputation and Kajabi's reputation as a whole platform. And in the future, we're going to have a lot more upcoming functionality around that, like re-engagement and ways to kind of manage ways to kind of measure and interact with those types of high-risk contacts, or ones that we don't recommend sending to. And so let's see. That's an upcoming change. You guys will be able to start previewing that early next week, so you can see how it affects you guys. We're going to be filtering out those high-risk contacts. So again, your sender reputation is not at stake here. And list hygiene is just something that's really important that we haven't traditionally focused on in the past. And now that we've gotten to a certain scale, a lot more sophistication in the marketing space, it's something we do need to take a lot more seriously. And it's something that we're going to be, again, launching more and more tools inside of the platform for you guys to keep really clean lists. And again, we're all about transparency here. We want to have a discussion with you guys about what these things mean and how they affect your businesses, and how we can continue to move forward, balancing a lot of this risk around email deliverability and making sure we have strong deliverability, clean lists, things like that. And so I think it's time now to jump into a live Q&A portion. And again, I apologize, guys, if there was technical issues. At least I'm getting that feedback from a couple folks. Hopefully the demos came through well. But I'm going to jump in. Again, if you guys haven't, we're going to post it in the chat. You guys can go to sli.do and type in the code Kajabi, and you'll jump into the live Q&A where you'll be able to ask me questions, and I will answer questions for maybe about the next 15 minutes or so, as much as I can, and then we'll all hop off. So again, thanks guys for watching this demo. We're really excited. If you want to use reCAPTCHA, you can go into Kajabi Labs and do that. If you guys want to be using double opt-in, that will be the new double opt-in improvements. That will be inside of Kajabi Labs very, very soon, and we'll let you know when it is. And yeah, again, thank you guys for being able to watch, and I'm going to jump in and answer some questions. When will Encore, Sue asks, let me see if I can rank these a little bit. Okay, they're just here for review. So Sue asks, when will Encore product theme be coming out? We don't have any, strong deadlines yet about when a new product theme will be coming out, but we do have a lot that we're working on with regards to products that kind of changes the dynamic a little bit between, what themes do and how they work and things like that. So stay tuned. This summer, we'll have some really cool news to share around products. Will there be any improvements to the affiliate area coming soon, like being able to change the cookie window or show better analytics to affiliates? I know we want to circle back on affiliates at some point, and I know the team, is really excited about doing that. Right now, the team that's working on affiliates or has affiliates is currently kind of heads down on making sure our email is working as well as it can. Will there be any capability to stream live Zoom calls or any live videos within the Kajabi community anytime soon? That's been on our that's been something that's been on our list for community for a while, is figuring out how we can really do live very well, and not just live in terms of like community, but pretty much everywhere. So no, nothing I can share yet, but we have our eyes on a lot of improvements to community this year. I don't want to share too much because there's probably stuff I can't share. All right, are there plans to make contact forms act in a way where submissions are more functional for us? Currently, the submissions require manual reformatting to reply. I'm not sure what this means, Brian, but I know the team is taking a hard look at redoing all of the admin UI around form submissions. So when you have a lot of them, or you have a lot of fields and things like that, they're going to be much easier to sort and filter through and work with overall. Email issue is a multi-pronged attack. What are you doing beyond reCAPTCHA? Thank you for asking this, Anonymous. We are doing, hopefully I explained some of it, during this call, but we're actually doing a whole lot, right? We're implementing reCAPTCHA. We're implementing some better double opt-in features to continue to get people to adopt stronger email practices, but we're also giving you a lot of tools in helping identify, which type of contacts have engaged with you, which types haven't, which ones we're going to recommend not sending to, and also what it looks like for you to re-engage those folks that we've essentially put on the no send list, right? If you would like to do that. And so we're giving you guys a lot more tools to kind of keep those healthy email lists, and we're working directly with our email sending providers and with block lists to make sure we're implementing the best practices across the board on the platform. And so what you guys can look forward to is a lot more tooling, a lot more documentation, and a lot more communication from us in terms of how you guys can keep your lists healthy. We also have a lot of other processes on the back end to really keep a close watch on what it looks like for people to import their lists, and new people coming onto the platform, and people who may have malicious intent, making sure that they're not able to send and things like that. All right, Anonymous asks, does invisible reCAPTCHA still have our list select all of the crosswalks, etc.? So yeah, in some cases when Google detects that something may be suspicious. I was able to show you just like explicitly how it worked, but that ends up being about, maybe 20% of the time. And as it learns, it will get even better at identifying, suspicious activity. And so real users will see it less frequently. Like I said, we've identified that about 5% of all that traffic is bot traffic. And so 20% might seem like a lot, but it's in context, we have a lot of automated traffic coming to those pages. And so you should expect your users to maybe see it sub 10% of the time. I think it's going to get better over time as well. And again, we're going to continue to learn as well and see what the best kind of fit for that is. Hi, Anonymous asks, how does reCAPTCHA work for the checkout page? So we're working through some solutions right now, but there's no reCAPTCHA on the checkout page currently today, even if you enable it in labs. It's just for forms today. The checkout page is less of a vector, especially if people have to enter in a credit card. And so it's not something that we haven't really seen very much in our data that gives us suspicion that the checkout page is a way that people get bad emails into the system. Please tell us if there will be a replay of the demo and the improvements. Yeah, so we're on Facebook Live. Facebook Live always does replays. So what you can do is you can always go back to our either our Facebook group where we have the post, or you can always go back to the Facebook page where we do this live, and you can watch the video. Yeah, thanks for asking. All right, is this a new form layout in test as I'm not seeing it right now? Yes, so when I showed some of the double opt-in stuff, that right now is not available. It will be available in labs really soon, and we'll notify you guys when it is. And so yeah, what you see on your page might look different than what I'm seeing on my page. Okay, Anonymous has to be clear, if double opt-in is on after they click the double opt-in link in their email, they can go to a specific landing page that can be edited. Yes, exactly. You can take them to whatever landing page that you want to. Which is excellent, because what we've noticed is people use specific forms as specific incentives, right? I want to give you this download. I want to give you this ebook. I want to give you this video. And you guys now can control the flow of that. Not only which email is sent and what the email says for that specific form, but also when they click the button where they get taken. I think it's going to be a really cool tool, and I'm excited to see how you guys use it. Okay, Brian asks, if someone is a new customer and not already on my list, will they be required to go through reCAPTCHA or a double opt-in via the checkout form? So no. So reCAPTCHA, yes. reCAPTCHA is applied to everybody, whether or not they're on your list. And if they're already subscribed, you're not really losing out on too much there because they're already subscribed. In the case of a double opt-in, no. So they won't get the double opt-in email if they're already subscribed. We try to make the language as clear as possible inside of the UI. This is only applied for brand new contacts who want to get subscribed. So that form submission is created, but we don't actually, the way double opt-in works is that form submission is created, but we don't run any automations, and we don't do any of those like after actions on those form submissions until that person has confirmed their subscription. So the way the flow has generally worked, somebody submits the form, that form submission shows up in your admin so you could see what that person submitted. And then we ask them to confirm their subscription. And once they confirm it, we'll run any tagging or automations or things like that, because now they're a subscribed contact in the system. Will you send a replay to us, or will this live in Kajabi Lab somewhere? I had a call. Yeah, so there will be a replay here on Facebook. You can always come back to Kajabi's page and watch this replay. And then we will send out communications when the double opt-in feature is in Kajabi Labs ready to test. It should be within the next week or so. So we'll let you know when that happens. If you want to use reCAPTCHA right now, that is currently in Kajabi Labs. So you can go to you can see it in the replay as well, but you can go to your settings, Kajabi Labs, and enable reCAPTCHA. All right, Ant asks, will these form improvements being rolled into assessments when we ask for name and email at the end of the assessment? Yeah, that's something we want to take a look at. We're also taking a look at assessments in general, but yes, it's something we want to, right now it's not like #1 priority, because assessments don't get nearly as much volume as form submissions. It takes a little bit more effort to like go through and submit assessments, but it is something we realize that, you know, you're able to create a contact through assessments, and we want to make sure it affords the same types of protections and things like that. But currently we don't have double opt-in on assessments, so that's something we'll have to, you know, think through. Alon asks, so to clarify, if we use a button in an email and it redirects contacts to a confirmation page, how does that count as double opt-in? Yeah, great question, Alon. So the reason it counts as double opt-in is because you sent that person an email. So Alon, let's say I had your email address for some reason. I don't have your email, but let's say I theoretically did, and I went over to like Aunt Hodges, you know, page, who's been asking questions this whole time, jumped into Aunt Hodges pages and just started submitting forms. Like that would be a bad thing for me to do. That's not a very nice thing. But now all of a sudden you're getting emails from Aunt when you didn't really consent to that. You didn't really ask for it. What double opt-in does is it's just confirmation. It's going to send you one email saying, hey, confirm your subscription, just making sure that like you were the one who originally submitted this form. And so when you click that button, you are essentially giving consent. And when you look at like CAN spam laws and a bunch of other email compliance, like a lot of regulators would agree, it's not the law. Like double opt-in isn't a law, but it's recommended as a best practice to be within the law. And so it's a good way to just do some extra confirmation saying, hey, we just want to make sure you were the one that submitted this form, because somebody could easily go, I don't know, scrape a website somewhere, grab your email address and start submitting it to all these forms. And that's how, I don't know how you guys feel, but every once in a while I'll get like an email, like I was added to a list somewhere that I did not, like I have no association with. I've never signed up for that thing in my life. And that's probably because either some bot somewhere, or even somebody not out of malicious intent, but like didn't want to use their email address. So they're like, okay, Jeremy at Kajabi, right? And so there's double opt-in gives you that extra confirmation to essentially validate the person who owns the email account, you know, is consenting to receiving email. Brian asks, regarding my contact form submission question, when somebody fills it out, the email I get requires total formatting before I could reply. Could that be improved? Oh, so you're saying when you've checked the box to receive an email when somebody creates a form submission, that's not through. So yeah, that's a great question. We might have to take a look at what that email looks like these days. I know that is a really old feature, and it's since been replaced by like creating an automation, because you could create an automation to send an email. So I'm not sure which one of those you're using, but the automation feature might be a better one to use, but it might be missing out on some functionality that you're expecting. So that's a good one to maybe add into our ideas portal, so that you know, Isabel, who's our product manager over things like forms and things like that, can kind of take a look at that feedback. Yeah, thanks for asking that, Brian. Can you go over the reCAPTCHA demo again? Sorry, Anonymous, we don't have too much time. I would love to go over the reCAPTCHA demo again, but you can always see this in the replay, unless for some reason you guys weren't able to see it. I'm not able to view chat, but I guess just if my demo was wonky, let me know, and I can always, you know, demo it again. All right. Let's see, our double opt-in initial email sent via Kajabi's subdomain or through our custom email domain. So right now it's the double opt-in is a transactional email, which means it is sent through our Kajabi domain. We do want to start moving transactional email over to custom email domains at some point, but we also want to make sure that that stuff lands in inboxes as much as possible. So currently it's on Kajabi's domain. Okay, so we're getting into some other product questions. Will Klarna be integrated with Kajabi anytime soon? There's nothing explicit on the roadmap, or, you know, regarding Klarna or Afterpay, but it's something that I know Steph, our PM over the commerce team and checkout, is like really very much excited about and can like exploring at the moment. We have so many interesting, cool improvements that are going to be coming to checkout soon, as well as some like big ones coming hopefully towards the end of this year, that will make a lot more room, and it will hopefully make a lot more sense how like Klarna and Afterpay would like essentially work in the system. Okay, can you show how the new functions can work with Kajabi Mail versus an external mail provider? Perhaps they can co-work with a purpose. Yeah, I mean, let me see if I could explain it well. So if you're using like a third-party email provider, but you're still using Kajabi Forms, you'll still be able to use reCAPTCHA to to protect the bots that are coming through and filling out those forms, which is really great. And the way most email providers work is they'll try to they'll provide reCAPTCHA protection on forms as well, like Mailchimp does it, ConvertKit does it, things like that. But when you use their API, that they expect that providers like us who are integrating with those third parties are also sending clean emails across the way, right? And so it's actually a better relationship with them when we have stuff like reCAPTCHA on that. All right, well, customized double opt-in emails have a better chance to hit the Gmail primary inbox, or at least not the spam folder. Yes, like that's essentially what we're trying to do. So we're sending this on a completely different domain and a completely different set of IPs. And Ali, thank you for clarifying that the demo was wonky. So I will do another demo for reCAPTCHA, no problem. So we'll customize double opt-in emails have a better chance to hit the Gmail primary, or at least not the spam folder. Yes, that's our goal. We're sending on a completely different domain, subdomain. We're sending it with a different pool of IPs. And we want to make sure that that's the transactional set of IPs and domains where we're sending things like, here's your purchase information, or when you're doing a product announcement, it's getting sent through there, where it's kind of separate from the marketing emails in a lot of ways. And so it should have a different profile for how it lands in inboxes. And that's the reason why we're not going all out in terms of customization. I showed you, and I can show you guys again, like customizing this double opt-in email, it is simple. You guys might look at this and be like, well, I can't put my branding in there, and I can't put, like a video in there, and I can't put multiple buttons in there. And there's a reason why. Because if you put too much in here, one, there's a possibility that somebody could put multiple buttons in there, and now all of a sudden it's not looking like a confirmation email, it's looking like a marketing email, and that's going to end up not showing up well inside of inboxes, and not showing up well in the primary. Whereas if we position this email as something that's very much around confirming your subscription, we keep it simple, we keep it straightforward to the point, we only have one link that you can click on, that makes it much more likely to show up in email inboxes. And again, this is standard practice across the board. If you look at Mailchimp, ConvertKit, there is customization in terms of that double opt-in incentive email, but they keep it very simple, and that's for good reasons. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do another reCAPTCHA demo, and hopefully it won't be wonky again. So I'm going to go in here, and I know I'm going to disable my double opt-in so I could show reCAPTCHA again. Oh, please review the problems. Was there a problem here? Let's see, I'm going to refresh this page. Okay, I think we're good now. I'm going to go over here to my form. Again, hopefully you guys see this. All right, I'm going to type in Jeremy at Kajabi, and I'll submit the form. And look, I wasn't even able to trigger reCAPTCHA. Let's try this again, maybe with a different email. So for the most part, it's just going to like go through. I might have to try this a couple more times. Let's see. And I know you guys have my email. I'm just going to put in like Jeremy plus, 1 at Kajabi. See if it triggers reCAPTCHA. Nope. Jeremy plus 2 at Kajabi. There is a way that I can force. Okay, here we go. So I just submitted the form like in quick succession 3 times. So Google was probably like, oh, are you a bot maybe? So now they're kind of like, okay, hey, let's present a reCAPTCHA. So they asked me to, show, let's identify any bridges. I'm going through here, and I know these guys are bridges. I don't think they see any other bridges. Oh, no, looks like that's a bridge. It's an underpass. And that's it. That's all they had to ask me. So 1 question, sometimes it's 2 questions. If you're really a bot, they're going to be pretty strict about it. So if people are like running scripts or things like that, like they'll ask you 8 questions or things like that. But Google does a really good job at help identifying the risk factor. And in that case, I just had to answer only 1 question, and I had to submit it 3 times in order to, trigger it. So like I said, hopefully in practice, the reCAPTCHA is like few and far between. It's only when there's suspicious activity that's happening. So that is how reCAPTCHA works. And hopefully you guys saw it again. Okay, cool. Let's see. I'm going to go and answer a few more questions, guys. Again, sorry for the technical issues, but hopefully I was able to demo the reCAPTCHA again. And there will always be a replay, so you guys can skip through and see my blunder over and over again. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Alon asks, is there a way to show the email that the button is secure? Some people feel like they should never click anything in an email. So yeah, of course you can change the language to make sure that that's there. You can even put like a secure emoji, but yeah, I mean, security is hard. It's not like you can put a verified trust seal there, other than you can say that this is secure. That's the most that, you know, you can do. I mean, I know there's some people who are afraid of clicking into emails, but those also might not be the people who you might want to have on your email list, because if you're emailing them, like, you're likely going to have links, and you know, in order for them to continue to participate, they need to be opening and clicking your emails. So yes, there are people who will not click a link on any email. Those aren't the people that you should have on your list. Okay. Brian asks, I'm assuming the answer is no, but can you remove or realign the reCAPTCHA thumbnail in the lower right pages with forms that interferes with the Facebook Messenger button? Yeah, that's the default. I think we want to try to create a way for you to realign it and rework it. It is required so that people have like terms and conditions. There could be a way for you to remove it completely if you include like the reCAPTCHA terms and conditions in your own terms and conditions. We'll provide some documentation in terms of how that works. But you know, in order to use reCAPTCHA, you have to have those terms and conditions presented to your users as well. It's pretty easy to hide. So I think what I'll do is I'll note this down. We'll include some guides on how to hide it if you include it in your own terms, as well as how to reposition it, because it's fairly easy to reposition with a little bit of CSS. We can present a guide on how to do that. All right. Did you do deep analysis on what other services do to find best practices? Well, yes, we did. We've looked at a ton of services. Actually, Jay, our product marketing manager, who's been running with a lot of the comms around, you know, all the email updates and things like that, has a big matrix of all of not only competitors, but like also just a bunch of different industry, you know, email providers, and what they, how they handle these kinds of things. reCAPTCHA, double opt-in, you know, email list hygiene, stuff like that. And so, yes, we're working tirelessly in the background to find that great balance of like, here's what all the other players do to keep all their lists clean and safe. And here's where they kind of like, you know, move the goalposts in terms of how much risk they take on versus how much they don't, what options they offer to their users, as well as, you know, as well as just like finding that balance between what's best for our user base. You guys have lots of, you know, really great needs. You guys are obviously running an all-in-one business here, lots of different niches, lots of different styles of marketing, and we want to make sure that we serve you guys the best. And so, yeah, we're taking all of that very, very seriously, and we're going to be continuing to learn as we continue to go and continue to give it our most well-informed best shot. And if things, you know, if things are clearly not working out, we're going to also be attentive and listening to that. So we're not claiming this is the end all be all. This is what we're standing behind today. But we're also going to continue to learn how we can make the experience even better for you guys. So that is everything in the Q&A. I know we planned to leave this at like 11:45. It looks like we finished 2 minutes early. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. I hope that this was helpful for you guys. And if you guys have, I would throw this in the chat. If this kind of topic was helpful for me to cover today, I would love to hear what other topics would be good, where I can kind of just dive in. I could demo some features. It doesn't even have to be new features either, but just like dive in on a topic and have you guys ask questions, because this was fun for me. I'm happy to always do it. But let me know in the comments what you guys think, and we can, you know, try to do more of these maybe on a more regular basis. All right. Awesome, guys. Thank you guys again so much for joining us, and we will talk soon. All right. Bye-bye.